So throughout the legislative session, we sit down with Oklahoma's legislative leaders from both sides of the aisle, and we're approaching some big deadlines for state lawmakers, looking to get some bills here on the floor. And in studio this morning, we have House Minority Leader Cyndi Munson. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Right. So let's just start with this first question. It's talking about tax cuts here. We saw that Oklahoma is going to start seeing a cut to the grocery tax during the summer. Governor Kevin Stitt, he's pushed for legislation that looks to eliminate the income tax here in the state. We see Senate Pro Tem Greg Treat, he has said that just the state, it's not possible, but do you agree here?
Yeah, so first, a huge win, bipartisan win, something House Democrats have been advocating for many years, is to eliminate the state sales tax on groceries, which will come into effect this summer. When it comes to cutting the income tax, that's something House Democrats have been adamantly against, mostly because it helps those at the very top of the income tax bracket. It very rarely helps those right in the middle or lower income earners. And so we need to make sure, first and foremost, that we protect our revenue base. We have critical services that we have to fund all across state government in order to serve people all across our state. And so cutting the income tax right after we just made a huge tax cut to the state sales tax on groceries, and that was a $400 million price tag. That will help all Oklahomans, really focusing on tax cuts and tax reform around helping working families is where House Democrats are, and income tax just doesn't do that.
And I want to move on to now the Oklahoma bill that would allow law enforcement, local and state law enforcement, to detain and deport illegal immigrants. It's a bill that mirrors Senate Bill 4 in Texas. Can you talk about how you feel about this bill? You've said previously this is not the state's job.
Right, and quite frankly, in conversation with tax cuts, if we're going to cut taxes, I need to know how we're going to fund state government and law enforcement agencies to ensure that, first and foremost, law enforcement agencies can do the things that they are asked to do right now. They do not have the resources to then do what the federal government is responsible of doing. We really need to be urging our federal delegation to have a bipartisan conversation around solutions when it comes to immigration and what's happening at the border. That is not the state's job. We don't have the resources to do that. So yes, I have said that any time and any funding resources that we put towards something that the federal government should be doing actually harms Oklahomans, because it's our job to take care of our constituents and to take care of our state's business.
Just recently, the state Supreme Court ruled that the state legislature can now override the governor's vetoes on tribal compacting bills. Can you share your opinion on this ruling?
We have always known that this has been the case. When we were in special session, House Democrats supported continuing conversations around compact negotiations with our tribes. I am glad to see that we're finally, taking it to the Supreme Court, finally tells us we did the right thing and we need to move on. The governor really has to find ways to work with our tribal partners and figure out ways to work together on behalf of not just tribes, but the entire state of Oklahoma.
Democrats, they've seen some bills head out of committees here recently. So just talk about the party's priorities as of right now.
Our top priorities have been to lower costs for working families. We got that done with the elimination of the state sales tax on groceries. We want to increase our workforce and get more people and more Oklahomans into the workforce, and the way we're doing that is addressing the child care crisis that we have in Oklahoma, and then keeping our State Department of Education, the state superintendent, accountable. We have legislation moving through the process that would require quarterly reports coming to the state legislature to ensure that federal dollars are being used properly for our students here in Oklahoma.
You've got some pretty big deadlines that are coming up, and I do want to ask you, are there any bills or one bill that you think Oklahomans should be keeping their eye on right now that's coming from the Democratic Party?
There are so many of us talking about workforce issues and workforce development and economic development. There's something that myself and Speaker designate Kyle Hilbert, he'll be the upcoming Speaker of the House. We had an interim study looking at deferred maintenance for our regional and Russo higher education institutions. So there's a bipartisan effort that Democrats have also prioritized to address deferred maintenance with our facilities all across the state of Oklahoma. If we want workforce to increase, we've got to get folks into the right programs and nursing and education. So we've got to take care of our buildings. And so that's a huge priority for us as House Democrats, and hoping that's the same for Republicans. And it's a great bipartisan piece of legislation that will really transform our state.
That kind of bleeds into my next question here. I'm sure a lot of people at home are hearing that that's encouraging news to hear that you're working with the next Speaker of the House here. So talk more about bipartisanship and how you are and how hopeful you are in getting some of the bills that Democrats have that might be heading to the floor here soon passed.
Yeah, it has always been our priority to push for the things that we feel really help working Oklahomans, and we're going to push back against extremist legislation that we have seen come through the legislative process. I had an opportunity to talk a little bit about that on a national press conference just a couple weeks ago, but we do have great solutions and great things that we work on, and when Republicans and Democrats come together, we're actually solving problems for everyday Oklahomans. The elimination of the state sales tax on groceries is a perfect example of what we can do for all working families when we work together, when we focus on what are the issues that Oklahomans are facing and how do we problem solve for them versus getting stuck on these more divisive, polarizing issues.
All right, House Minority Leader Cyndi Munson, thank you so much for coming on and talking about these really important topics for our viewers at home.